I thought that was the best.
I
Anyway,
was looking at that. Stop.
all right, so, well, I guess for me, like, whenever I give them a task and just say, all right, now, and it's up to you, this class activity is for you to speak to each other. And when you hear nothing but the language in here, and they're all participating, like, I don't have to, a couple times I might say you need to stay on task, but when you hear them speaking the language, it's like, oh my God, I never, in a school setting, when you hear students, you never heard them just all speaking the language, participating and having fun in the language, and that like, it gives you the chills sometimes. You're like, whoa, they're all speaking. It's amazing. I don't have to tell them get to work, because they enjoy the activities and they enjoy speaking their language. So
Wonderful. That's really wonderful. How do you feel about how Red Cloud the school has embraced the language now and is really working to revitalize the language? Can you speak to that?
yeah, I mean, I was part of it. Like I said, when I was teaching so Native American studies or Lakota studies, the principal at that time, Bob Braveheart, came to me and he said, if you are in charge of this school and you wanted to bring the language back, how would you do that? And I said, well, I mean, without a full immersion program, I mean, the best we could do is make it as important as math, English, and science. If you really want to bring the language back to the best of our ability at this private school, is you need to have from K through 12, there just as much time you spend in English. You have to have these students in class learning Lakota. You can't have them in there half an hour a week and expect them to learn something like we were doing in the past. Maybe one class, for the freshmen. You have to have level 1, 2, 3, 4. In the high school, all 4 levels. In the middle school, they have to be in there 5, 6, 7, 8 every day, just like you do every other class. You have to add it to the curriculum. That's what I would do. And we're almost there, I think. I mean, now with the immersion, we're at immersion. High school's level 1 through 4. I don't know what's going on at middle school, but I'm getting some pretty good students over here now. So, but, you have to make it as important as every other class.
That's perfect. I think that's so great. In the big scope of things, with the whole community of Pine Ridge, not just Red Cloud, how do you think that the language revitalization here is helping more positive activity in Pine Ridge as a whole?
I've heard from other instructors at other schools asking, what are you doing at Red Cloud? And I was like, why? One of your students came up and spoke to me in Lakota. I was like, wow, really? And they go, yeah. So you guys are doing a good job down there. And so, I mean, once it starts spreading out, then it starts having a positive impact on the other schools, because now they got to step up their language game, because they know what Red Cloud is doing. And I think for me, when I first started teaching, because I taught seniors in the past, they came in, this is before I was teaching the language, though. They came in and they said, hey, what are you teaching in your class? I'm like, why? Well, the students are posting on Facebook in Lakota, and I don't know what they're saying. I'm like, well, you better pay attention to your Lakota language class. Because if my freshmen are talking in Lakota on Facebook and you don't understand, you better step up your game too, So, but, that, and so when it starts spreading, like, when everybody, because we are Lakota people, we should be speaking our language, if we want to claim that we're sovereign, I think it starts right there, is taking the language and saying, okay, this is who I am as a Lakota person. I can speak my language, I know my history, I know my spiritual ways, and so, yeah.
That's really awesome. I've asked a bunch of questions. Do you think there's anything is there anything else that you could add that I didn't ask that you would just like to, share about yourself, Red Cloud, or Lakota language that adds a representation to it that you want to get out?
Well, I have 4 children, and I taught all 4 of them here at Red Cloud, and I wasn't teaching the language then when my own children were here, But now, since I start teaching, like, my children themselves have taken it upon themselves to start learning the language. And so when we're at home, we do a lot more speaking of our own language at home within the family. And because my wife she's not Lakota, she's an Ojibwe from another tribe, she's also starting to learn the language. And so, I can see, just like the seed that was planted here at Red Cloud, through the elders in the community, that, the language is getting out there more and more. And you hear it out in the community at the powwows and in the stores. I mean, the stores all labeled. If you go to Big Bats, they're all labeled in Lakota. And I think, as time goes on, the other schools may pick up, improve their curriculum. I mean, because Red Cloud, I think we got a pretty decent program. We got textbooks now. It's like, regular class. It's held as important as the other classes they teach. So, and in here, like I tell my students, they'll be trying to do math. I'm like, this ain't a math class, and I'll throw their book off the desk and I'll say, work on your Lakota work, Lakota wog lakapo, speak Lakota. Oh, okay, and then they'll know how serious I am as a teacher in the language. So, yeah, and I think as more and more of our own people start, learning the language, we'll achieve that sovereignty goal that our leaders say we need to be at. So, kind of my own opinion on that.
Definitely. It's really awesome, really awesome. Before we wrap up, we can ask